All right. We're live.
Real life.
This
Welcome.
weird thing is 3 box.
Yeah. It's a little weird just seeing the 3 across.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Jen will be joining us. She's running just a little late, so she'll be joining us. And yeah, I grabbed the book. So we read The Summer. I keep wanting to say the wrong name because I've read all the books. The Summer You Found Me by Elizabeth O'Rourke. Her name is always a tongue twister for me.
Mm-hmm.
So Megan's joined us.
Hey,
Hello,
Megan.
Megan.
Hello.
My camera is a little different, so I'm like looking down to look at you guys and then trying to like look up
Look up.
at the camera.
Yep.
Okay. Well, normally we just go around and say what we thought of the book, like how we rated it first. So you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. So Jessica, I can see you first. You're first on my side. So go for it.
I gave it a 4. It was a solid 4. Yeah.
Okay.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think you might have gotten a little more out of it because you read the whole series. Or I just jumped into the book.
I'll talk about that when I.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm leaning the wrong. I'm trying.
You're
I'm leaning off cameras. I'm trying to get on camera. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. I did not like this book. I gave it like a 2.5, maybe 3 star. Might round up to 3 star when I do Goodreads, but I did not like it.
Okay.
So
Bound to
sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Not my book.
We're gonna have different ones. Again, I'm leaning off the camera. Hello, Joanne.
Hello, Joanne.
Okay, well, I guess the way we're set up, I can see me, then Jessica, then you, Amber. So we kind of go in order. I gave it a 5. I love
Oh my god.
I knew you would. I knew.
Oh, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Thank you, Megan.
Oh my god.
Megan gave it a 5 too.
I'm gonna be the only hater on here.
I don't know. We don't have Jen on yet, so we'll see.
You know what? I think it just adds to the discussion when we aren't all.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when you don't like a book, it's nice if everybody else feels the same way. But I mean, this is our first time that we're like, I'm going to set this down because I can't stay on camera while I'm holding it, apparently. Oh, somebody else has a. Oh, we're all divided. This is very exciting.
This is fun. Okay. Let's okay.
Like, this is the first time, though, that we have been really divided. Usually we're very close. Okay. Joanne says
okay, me and Joanne. We're in the same club.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Joanne.
I like that. I love hearing the different things, because when I was reading it, there was a moment of, there were a few parts where I was like, do I like Elizabeth, but yeah.
I had to buy the audiobook because when I was physically reading it, I was like, I am gonna DNF this. Like, so I bought the audiobook, and then I was mad that I bought an audio book.
Okay, Megan says she wasn't even going to finish the series after reading the first one because it was so depressing and put her in a funk. So I read the first one in the series and I gave it a 4. Elizabeth O'Rourke is usually a solid 4 or 5 for me. I've never rated anything less than a 4. And then I read the second one, which is The Summer You Saved Me. And I know these are semi standalones. And from the first book to the second book, Caleb is like a friend that is mentioned like almost in passing. He has a very small role in the first book. So I was kind of thinking that's where this whole series would go. But the second book is Caleb and Lucy. And right, Lucy? Yeah. No. Am I wrong? Is it Lucy? Yeah, it's Lucy.
I didn't read them.
And then you really kind of learn a little bit more about what happened between Caleb and Kate. And then this book, oh my gosh, I just felt for Kate so much.
I hated her.
Really?
I hated her.
Well, I think it's because you didn't get, like, Mandy read the book before, which you.
But I thought I would hate her more because she's kind of like the villain in their story, like trying to, like, I just didn't. I like prickly heroines, and I like the arc that, you know, some they'll take us on, but I didn't really feel there was a redeemable arc for her. I felt like she showed no guilt or like shame for things, her actions, and her actions and the way she talked about other women like pissed me off. And I was like, I hate you. Like bleh.
Mm-hmm.
So
Before I show more comments, I want to apologize. I have pneumonia. I've been sick for like weeks now. So when I'm coughing, I'm super sorry. I can't edit that out like we've been doing to our other videos. And I know Amber's not feeling super well either. So Jessica, you might have to carry us.
I can hear my husband in the hallway. He's on a Zoom call with his mom and sister. And there, for whatever reason, he's walking through the house with the phone on top, like as loud as possible. So hopefully you guys cannot hear him in the hallway having a chat with his mommy.
Mommy. Thank you, Joanne. You're making me feel good.
I am loving how divided we are on this. This is fantastic.
But I can see Joanne and Amber's opinion, because there were times, especially at the beginning of the book, I was like, how childish are we? He said he wants a divorce. You know, he has found somebody else. So move on. You know?
I agree, Megan. The characters were very complex and they felt very real. I wonder if I did feel, because when I read Caleb and Lucy's book, you know a little bit about Kate, but she's not really meddling in anything. She comes back at the very, very end to set up this book, but you know all the stuff that her and Caleb went through. And so I was like, ooh, I really love Caleb and Lucy. So how am I going to like Kate when she comes back? And I felt like it was Elizabeth wrote so well because she got me to really feel for Kate. It made me very emotional at times for her. So I really loved it.
I think Elizabeth Rourke's writing is really good. Like I usually give her like a 4-star or a 5-star. So it wasn't like I just didn't think she told the arc that like I would have wanted for her redemption, because she was still continuing to do like really underhanded things very far into the book. And then she seemed more worried about getting caught or like when he found out than what she was actually doing to an innocent person that didn't steal your man. Like you left, you went on your own, like spiral down. That's your fault. And then she blames like women. She hates on other women. I didn't like that. And so I just was I didn't care about her. Like I liked the hero, like he was interesting, but I didn't feel any connection between them and the characters for me either, because I disliked her so much. So it was kind of like I was stuck in that the whole book, being like angry.
Yeah. But I could see like when she met, I can't remember the name of the friend that was pregnant that kept coming in to the like that made her, that's when I started going, oh, okay, like I can see this, like that would be very, very hard. It's not the person's fault who's pregnant, but I can see where she's coming from at this point. Like I get it. And I think, I don't know, Mandy, you probably knew going into this book what had happened to her. We didn't find out really what had happened till, it was a ways into it. And so I felt if I'd known that going in, I might have been a little more sympathetic towards her as well in the beginning, but
and that's my fault. I suggested this book and I was basing it off of like that when you read the second book, like Caleb. I knew that who this book was about, but I had not read the second book yet. So I did not connect that the second book was about her husband. And so I probably set that up a little bit for a failure.
I don't think it was like on you. I also had already looked it up because I was like mad. And so I was like, oh, like I kind of knew why she, got addicted to drugs and all that stuff. And that would be like I would be sympathetic with her, but the way she treats every person and blames everyone else and never takes accountability was making me be like, I hate you. Like, I don't like you. I don't feel bad for you.
I'm with Megan on that. Even I understood where she was coming from, even if I didn't agree with her. But Kate was younger than us. And so just kind of thinking back to being a little more emotional in your 20s, I could definitely see where she got addicted to drugs from the miscarriage, like the baby died,
Mm-hmm.
and Caleb wasn't there. And so she has like, Caleb had a lot of guilt for that, and that's why he waited for her to come back. And then she, like, I felt for her because she finally, like, I mean, drug addiction is hard. And so she finally gets through that and comes back to try and get him back because she thinks that's who she's meant to be with. And then he's moved on. And like, I understand where she, like, when she's talking about Lucy and she says that Lucy gets 2 babies and I didn't even get one, that broke me for her. And from that point forward, I'm like, darn it, you deserve your happy ending too, Kate.
Mhm.
Like,
But I
I don't
don't
know.
think setting the other woman up that never did anything to you and with drugs and just the thing, like the things that she did were like criminal, like
Mhm.
and I mean, and she just like, I felt bad for her. I think the drug addiction is so horrible, and the things that she had to go through, that is bad. But then when she takes it to a vindictive place and is working with a guy that is like disgusting to like try and ruin somebody's life and break them up, that's when I'm like, I don't know. And you're still doing it, and then you do an about face at the very end. Like didn't seem authentic to me.
Yeah, I get that. I remember there was a time when I was pregnant with my first, we had a lady in our church who, like, they had a night where all the ladies in the church they made like birthing shawls or prayer shawls or something, and it was right before Christmas. It was just before he was born. And we were all going around saying, there was like 3 of us that were pregnant, so we were saying around when we were due and whatever. And then somebody kind of grabbed the microphone, and it was a woman who'd been a part of this church for a long time, and she was like, well, I'm due on this day. Nobody knew that she was pregnant at all. And about a week after my son was born, she lost her baby at 23 weeks, 23, 24 weeks. And I just remember thinking, like, here she is, like, I had a lot of sympathy towards her because she lost her baby. And like he lived for a few days. So, we were all following that. And I had a lot of guilt as the mom who had just had her baby and
Yeah.
didn't to take him in and show him off. Like, so I think I sympathized with her in those ways where I could see what didn't happen to me, but I was on the opposite end. Like, I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know that it justified all of her actions, but like Megan said, she's just complex. There's a lot of things. I did think a lot of things were immature, but I still like the story. I'll probably never reread it, but I like the story. So I get it.
Can you guys read that? Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you can read that loud.
Okay, Megan, and I love this. She says, it's crazy how we are so much harder on women than we are on men. If a man had done these things, we would call him an obsessive bad boy who will do anything for the woman he loves.
It's true.
So it is. And so maybe that's why I felt more for Kate and I was able to forgive her because I feel like she was just doing things to try and get him back. And she didn't actually get Lucy in trouble. But
no,
when she makes
It was pretty close.
when she made that comment though about how Lucy got 2 and she didn't even get 1, like that just really made me feel for her. Like,
yeah, I got emotional for a minute when she was talking about the dream, like where she dreamed about the baby and that she realized that she had to get him back because so that she could have that dream. But in the mind part, and I was going, there's other men out there, right? It doesn't have to be that one. And I understand why she felt that it did, but my brain was like, yeah, but any guy with sperm can do that for you. So,
but she hadn't healed yet.
No.
She was still, I mean, Caleb had all this time to grieve because he didn't turn to drugs. And in that other book, we see like Lucy goes downstairs in his house to get something, and he hadn't told her yet about the baby or anything, and she finds all the baby furniture and stuff. And so Caleb has time to grieve and go through all those emotions. She chose not the best outlet by going to drugs, but that's, I mean, most people who become drug addicted or become alcoholics are self-medicating, and that's what she did. And by the time she gets clean, all of that stuff for her then is still extremely raw for her, where Caleb's had all this time to move on. she's just now dealing with it.
Which I get that. And so I would have been more sympathetic if that was the story and her trying to move on and grow and actually move on and grow with the current hero, not obsessing on him and then doing the wrong things, like and being catty and the mean girl to every female. She did start to turn around for me when she was being trying to be. She was pretty bitchy in the beginning, but she started to wear down with the girl that was pregnant and how she really was like worried for her. That was like, there were some things in there that were like speaking to me, but then she was still going ahead with things that I was like, I just can't. Oh, there's Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Hey.
My camera. Now you can see
Sorry,
like the
guys.
walls back there.
Jen gets to do it from her car this time.
I get to be the one with the car,
Okay.
yeah.
Jen, tell us your rating, and then I'll tell you how we all rated it.
The more that I sit on it, I'm going with a 3.5.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was a 5. I loved it. Jessica's a 4. And Amber, where did you end up?
I'm probably a 2.5, 3-star.
Okay. So you had a little bit of issue with it?
Oh, a lot. Like, I
Okay.
hated her. I hated the heroine.
Okay, good.
So.
Like, I didn't connect with her at all,
Mhm.
and I was like waiting for the redemption. And even her redemption, I was just like, it wasn't enough for me. It kind of, I kept thinking of Reckless with Winter, like how, like, she was such a
Yeah.
bitch, right, in the first book. But she had like, the entire book was a redemption arc for her. And I could not get behind Kate with the good Kate, bad Kate. And I'm like, dude,
Well,
I'm just done with you.
And she's like ruthless, like, Winter isn't doing anything like this, but like she is like ruthlessly going after an innocent woman, blaming her for stealing her man and doing illegal, like shady things to ruin her life, like, and getting involved with that girl's like ex who's a psycho. Like, so I'm like, and then she's, to my point, was like that she just felt like she didn't even feel bad about it. She was worried about getting caught or worried about the new guy finding out about it. And so she didn't feel authentic, like apology or like trying to make amends or anything to me.
In the comments, we're also extremely divided. We have Megan, who was at a 5, and Joanne, who what did Joanne?
I think she said 3.
A 3, but she had a comment about it. Oh, she gave it a 3, but that was generous.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what I was like. I'll do a 2.5, but like 3 on Goodreads.
Yeah. I love it though. We finally read a book where we don't all agree, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I was loving it. I mean, I really wanted this. I mean, my prediction was a 5. I really wanted to like it, because the first book in the series was one of my favorite books of last year that I read, and even the second one kind of fell short for me because I read that, and then I read this one, and I just had issue. Like, I had issue with both of the couples, but this one I was like, I mean, the thing is I mean, I understood everything from Kate. Like, I understood why she went through what she went through. I understand the struggle. I understand wanting to create something again because you lost it. And I wanted so much to like her because of everything that she was going through, because I felt so bad for her, but I really just did not connect with that character at all.
And I didn't feel their connection. Like, she's too obsessed on the other guy that and we're supposed to believe that this guy's been into her since the start. But it just felt kind of physical. So I didn't feel any like real like love intimacy growing between them. And so I couldn't connect to it. Jen, I actually bought the audiobook because I was like, wanted to DNF it while I was reading it. And then I was mad that I bought an audiobook of it because can I give it back?
Their connection was the giant trouser snake. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
yes.
for sure. Like, I felt it from, I felt Beck. Like, it basically, like, the attraction was all him, and then it was like, I just had, she irritated me. I'm sorry. I know I give my heroines, like, I think it's kind of like where you like critique yourself more, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I do with my heroines. And I wanted to like her so bad, but I just could not. It took me days to get through this book because I was like,
Yeah, my speed was up real high. I was like, I gotta get this. I can't listen to this anymore.
Joanne says she couldn't connect at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was doing a project while I was listening to it, but I always listen to it at top speed anyway. So yeah.
I know. I'm like, that was the one good thing is it's on Amazon Audible, so I could listen to it fast.
Jen,
I mean, the narrators were good.
The narrators were great, and Elizabeth's writing is good. She's a good writer. Just not every book is gonna sit right.
Yeah.
So, and that's.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah, because I thought her writing was good.
Yeah. She's written many great books. I like her. I fall into her books very easily. They're very much like like an Elsie Silver or even like Carrie and Cole, where you're just immediately drawn into the story. And I like her writing.
Yeah. Have you read her other one? What was that one called, Mandy? The time travelish one.
Parallel.
Have you guys read the Parallel series?
Oh,
that I've been wanting to read forever, but I haven't.
It is so good.
It's very. That was my first book by her.
Was it?
Yeah, and that one was actually, there were some things personally that were hard to get through it for me, but I pushed through and I was so glad I did because it made me really emotional.
I read it and I told Justin,
you
have to read this.
Well, I had started reading it when in 2020, I read like the first couple chapters, but it was right after I got done reading The Surviving Trace and it just wasn't hitting the same mark. And then Mandy read it and she's like, you really need to give it another try. And so I did. That was, I don't know, it was the last year or something. So.
My first book was Waking Olivia.
Mine too.
That was like, I love that book. So
Mandy bought me that for my birthday, but I don't have it. I don't have it ready.
Waking Olivia, Drowning Aaron, The Devil Gets His Due.
Yeah.
I loved all of those.
Yeah.
So. I really like the fact that we all have different.
I know. It's like the first time.
I love it.
I was like wondering, I'm like, are they hating this as much as me?
I know, because last month I had a lower rating than all of you guys really enjoyed it, and I was like, I'm trying to be better at rating books.
I can't even remember what we read last month.
Was
it
was the boyfriend's dad book. It was
the Tryst.
I just read like the taste.
Oh my gosh! All four of us were like,
It was my book, and I was like,
oh yeah.
It's the worst when you pick the book and you're like, oh, sucks.
Yeah.
Like when I picked that San Mariano one, I was like, I'm sorry.
I just read another one of her books, and I did not rate it as high as I wanted to.
San Mariano's.
Yeah. I feel like she's almost like a hit or miss for me.
She goes pretty crazy, so she'll take you on a different kind of journey. It depends on her series too, because and it's divisive. There's a lot of drama going on with her Surrender and the Sleeping Beauty prologue, extended thing that came out that I think it's kind of crazy. The fans' reactions, like they were like attacking her for ruining Darren Aubrey, and they're like, it's her character, her stories. And they're like, I hope she goes bankrupt, like on Goodreads.
People are just wrong.
What is wrong with people?
It's like, this isn't your story. And she like basically kind of had to do author's note at the end because she knew she was going to get backlash. And it's like, if you don't want to go on this journey, then end it here. They have a happily ever after. Don't go on.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was crazy. I was like, you guys don't need to attack the author. No. Just don't read it.
It's her craft. Those are her characters. She can do what she wants. She's going to be in Vegas when we go in October. I saw that this morning.
I know.
So
I wish I could go. That's the one author I've really wanted to meet. Like I really want to meet San Mariano.
It's available. I just saw them post about it.
Yeah, the VIP ones that are like.
Oh, is that what's left?
Yeah, I think there were 3. Yeah.
We'll get there eventually, Amber. We'll get there eventually.
I know.
You guys really need to do the Vancouver one with that. Well, the tickets go on sale next week for Vancouver.
I would
May.
love
I
to
wish
go.
there was
Fargo is
something
gonna be
close to
fantastic.
where I lived so I wouldn't have to like get a hotel and flight and all that kind of stuff.
Steamy LitCon is in Anaheim.
Oh, that's true.
It's like
That
I
far?
think
I
it's
could do
August
that.
3rd. I can't go, but
Yeah. And if you look at the bookstore that's by you that you went to, I think that's
Yeah.
the one we saw, Sophie. That
Yeah.
they always go. They have events listed on their site too.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
saw
I was.
something pop up.
That's where I'll have to get my author fix in.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
remember I was like so shocked because there was like a huge line and it was all for like Megan Quinn, but like none for Sophie. And I'm like,
What?
I
That's
didn't
not
even want to
enough.
go to Megan Quinn. I was like, oh, I just want to go to Sophie. So I got to like walk right up after,
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
met Megan Quinn at Love in Seattle, and it was right after we read that book that we all
It was after our first live show. Well, and
Dude,
she
I remember
had a
that.
migraine really bad that day, and so she wasn't very. She was warning everybody. I have a migraine. I'm not going to stand up. I really don't feel good. I'm so sorry. And she like pushed through it and did the event, which yay that
That's
you did
amazing.
close that show.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but so I mean, we got a picture with her, but that was about it. So because we were just coming off of that that book.
People really
But-
love that book.
I know.
While we were standing in line, there were some people behind us who said that they loved other books that she had written, but they did not like that one at all. And they said kind of the same things about the female character that we had complained about.
I just remember her being too much for me. I'm like, you're just too much. Like, tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
You're annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really obnoxious. I had this up a minute ago. Joanne said that Waking Olivia was also her first, and she loved
That's
it.
Yeah. It's a
So
good
good.
one.
Really
I
good
really
one.
enjoyed that book.
Yeah.
I'll read it eventually. I'm still coming off of the Pam Godwin book, and that was 2-3 weeks ago I finished that, and I'm still like nothing is hitting right because that is all I can think about.
I signed up for that arc and I'm hoping I get like the arc, but it was like she's like, make sure that you have time because this is 700 something pages. And so I'm like, oh, I can't read any of these other arcs. I'll have to make this like the priority like book.
Because I knew I had time because I got it in mid-January and I
Mm-hmm.
knew February 8th to read it. So I had until to the 8th because then the cover reveal was the following week. And so I was like, oh, it's fine. It's all good. Or maybe that was the cover reveal. Whatever. I was like, I've got plenty of time. But it still took me a week because I was reading other books because it was so much. But all I wanted to do was read it. But I was traveling and stuff in the middle of it. So now I know that I'll get the next book, the second book, in the beginning of March. And I just already know that when that comes in, that's all I'm going to want to do for days. But I also had to read it very slowly because I was looking for grammar, grammatical errors.
Because you were the beta reader.
I had to look for so if I saw one, I had to stop. I stop immediately, highlight it, send it to her. Same thing with Alaska. There were several things. She did an amazing job with Alaska, but there were a few things where I was like, okay, so you said this, but at this time of year, this is what's happening, not that. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you caught that. That's
cool.
And she had to go back and fix things like that where I was like, this book is going to have Alaska right because she's got several of us from Alaska reading it that were correcting. So but
that's awesome.
I can't wait for the next book. I'm dying.
I'm excited.
The arcs come out on the 23rd though. Is that right? So we'll get them on the 23rd.
Sending them out the 23rd, and I think it's like a couple weeks in March that it comes out or whatever.
Is that on March 12th?
I think she gave it typically you only get. I think she gave more time than before because it is a big book. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I literally got an arc. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Because I messaged her and I was like, so do I need to fill out a thing to beta read the second book? And she's like, no, I keep the same beta readers for the whole series. So that's all the same people. And I was like, okay, so when am I going to get that next book again? Because I'm jonesing for it. So she said, I'll reach out in the first part of March and see if you're still interested. I'm like, why would
I'm interested.
I'm interested.
Smell a kidney to have that. So, yeah. So
I've had arcs. People send arcs like so last minute, and it makes like and it's been the same like PR company with this one author where it was literally like 2 days before the book released, and I'm like, you like now I have to drop everything, try to finish this in a day to be able to write the review before it comes out, have everything posted and ready. I'm like, that's so ridiculous. Like, give us time, because you're not the only arc we're reading. Like,
no,
I've been overwhelming myself with arcs. I'm trying to like request less upcoming arcs because it's been like so much stress, like so many, and I'm like, I'm not enjoying myself sometimes, you know, where it's just I'm like,
well,
so I'm trying to.
You want to be able to choose, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Choosing arcs by how desperate I would really like. Who's the author? Do I really, really want to read this book? Because there's no audio. So I can't, if I'm getting bored with it, you know, put it on a faster speed and just listen to it real quick.
Yeah.
I've got to physically read these books, which sometimes I can't be doing other things because I have to sit and physically read them. So I've been less as well, just ones that I really want. So.
Plus, it takes a couple days sometimes. I mean, like Amazon's really finicky. Sometimes it'll take me like within hours. They're approving my review, and then sometimes like with this last one I did, it took like almost 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, Jesus, I have to fill out a Google form and send back to these people so that they give me the arc again.
Yeah, Amazon's weird. I filled out a review. It wasn't for a book, it was for something else, and it was very positive, so I like wanted to like leave the review, and I got a like email from them like 3 weeks later saying they had just approved it, and I'm like, what on earth happened? Like, why did
I know what I reviewed?
I know, like one book like that I was waiting for, like it was like PS You're Intolerable or whatever, and it was like a favorable review, didn't have anything inappropriate or any of their things, and it was like over a week, and I kept being like, did I submit it wrong? Did I and I'm like, why did it take a week? Where I had to like basically tell them it didn't go, and then you can go back later and put the Amazon link in, but I'm like, it shouldn't be this hard.
I think Valentine PR was like, we know that they're taking a while, so you can send us the Amazon link once it's but
yeah.
Any final thoughts on
hated it
favorite books?
I mean, I'm gonna still read the next one because that one's with Landon, right?
I don't remember.
It's with the friend who has a wife.
2 more coming out.
Yeah, maybe. The next one I think is with the friend who has a wife.
The Summer I Destroyed You comes out in May.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's my final thought is I'll read the next one.
I'll read the time travel one.
There you go.
Yeah, I want to read that one too.
I'll go read Waking Olivia. What did you say?
All our goals.
There's like just a couple pages that says Emmy.
Okay.
I don't see.
Yeah, I didn't want to read it.
Yeah. So what's everybody?
Somebody named Donovan.
I don't remember.
In the book. Yeah, Donovan's name's mentioned quite a bit here.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so what's everybody reading right now then?
What am I reading? I'm reading something.
I know, that's what's like, what am I reading?
Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm trying to get through a few books that I have to explain this to everybody, but I had wrote a list from booktubers like months ago. Like 6+ months ago. I'm finally getting around to this stupid list with all these books on it. So I'm trying to get through this so I can do my recommendation video. And what am I reading? Play Along by T.L. Swan.
Okay. I
I
like
like
think it was a
that
recommendation from you guys. So that's
I like that.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a recommendation from you guys. So yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Megan's reading.
Oh,
I love the Mind.
Oh my God. My mom just finished it. She loved it. She was like, I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's just so sad that she'll be writing more that
I know.
Here to do that because that series was just
amazing.
I was scared to read it because it was so like talked about, and so I was like, "Oh, okay." And then like I read it, and I kept getting them back to back. I was like, "Okay, it's actually good."
Yeah. Me too. Such a good book.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I'm currently reading Jagger Cole's new release that's about to come out. And that Venomous Gods, I think that's what it's called.
Mhm.
So I'm almost finished with it. It's like the second book in it. Yeah, that's it.
I wish I'd have those books on audio. I want to read them, but I want to listen to them.
Does he do any audiobooks for his stuff?
I haven't seen any yet. But again,
that's a bummer. That would be a big thing for him if he did that.
Think so. I
thought he had one.
Well, maybe he does now. When I first looked, he didn't. Or maybe it was the first one, and I just haven't got that far. Because I really want to read his books, which I'll sit and read his books, but there's a lot going on right now where it's easier for me just to listen. I've got I'm reading, but
nope, nothing's coming up.
Yeah, nothing on audio.
Yeah.
And also
it's easy to read. He it sucks me in where I was getting through it really fast. I was almost finished with it last night. But it did feel kind of repetitive to a book that was in the previous series. It has ties to the same kind of school and whatever, and then something happens in school that made him hate her, but was there communication? No. And so it would have been easily cleared up. It's literally almost the same as one of his other books in the previous series. So that's kind of making me go, this seems kind of, it's still decent. It's a good book, but I'm this seems kind of
you're recycling
a little bit. It's different than the previous story, but I see so many little things. Yeah. So, but if somebody hadn't read that one, then they'd probably think it's great, It's just that I've read, I've had the arcs for each of the books in the previous series. So, it's I'm still enjoying it, though. So I can't say it's bad.
So is Jagger Cole a U.S., does he live in the U.S. or does he live out of the States? Because I know it's more expensive for those to do audio. Like Australia, to have audio done for Australian authors is really, really expensive.
I didn't know that.
I'm not sure. And he's not he has an Instagram, but he doesn't ever respond to anything or
I haven't seen his name on any lists of book events.
Yeah, I don't think he's very active.
Yeah.
He's not very face forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You don't have to always be involved, but it's always I'm always, it makes me more intrigued and wonder what's going on with him.
Exactly.
So that's
what he's going for.
Yeah.
Joanna's finishing the Off Balance series.
I wish I could read those again for the first time.
Twist is my favorite. Twist is
Twist was my favorite, and then Dismount just broke me. I cried through all of it.
It's the connection and the angst. It's hard to find a good book that has all of that tension and that angst that just are kind of rolled into one. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Plus the taboo aspect that was actually done appropriately. It was done right. It's just hard.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for Avery and Xavier's book.
It is coming.
Mandy. She's been waiting forever.
Yes.
I could care less.
It is coming.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be out this winter. I'm going to her website right now to see if she has any more updates.
Yeah, wasn't it supposed to be out last summer?
Yeah, I thought she was going to release it, but it was that Cam Girl one. Yes. I thought that was going to be when she released it, but then the Cam Girl one came out, and I was
said she was working on it, and then she's so it's just been on the back burner for a long time, and she's never actually posted anything specific until this past summer. She posted that it would be coming this winter.
The good thing is I believe, don't hold me to it, but I believe that because it's a duet, I think it's going to come out pretty close together. So it's kind of like Pam Godwin, where she's been working on it for so long that it's going to come out together. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking.
That's nice when they don't make you wait forever.
Yes,
it's
because we were talking about Pam's and I, we were talking about one of our convincing videos, and I was like, oh, I'd like to do one with Alaska, and she was like, oh yeah, and I said, well, maybe around the time that Pam's book comes out, and she's like, well, but do I wait until they're all finished? And I'm going, well, sometimes it takes a long time, but if I'm getting I got the beta copy in January, it comes out in March. I'm getting the beta copy for the second book in March. That would mean it'd probably come out in May.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, the other one would probably be out, August is the latest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so Pam is really good about boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So
Well, she's been working on these for what, 3 years, 4 years?
4.
Yeah, she's been working on them for a while.
Yeah. So
I'm so excited, especially because there's like tropes in it that I'm not particularly gravitate towards.
Done so
but it's her.
Good. Like at least in the first book,
It's her.
I know that like why choose reverse harem isn't a thing, but for like you and Mandy for sure. But it's not. It doesn't feel. It's not like what you're gonna expect it to. It blew me away.
It still says late winter 2024. And Joanne, I'm so excited for you.
What?
A birthday girl.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
I love it as much as Mandy does.
Honestly, that's a perfect book. That's a perfect book to go into after the Off Balance series. Honestly, because it'll give you something to look forward to.
Or Don't Kiss the Bride would be another one that's really good.
Yeah.
So
you know what I forget is how big Birthday Girl is. Like it always surprises me when I go and pick it up, like how chunky she is. I'm like, man, I feel like I went through so fast, but it's pretty thick.
And it's a slow burn.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so
good. That kitchen scene with the Band-Aid. Oh, I gotta go.
The scene that always sticks out to me that isn't even sexual is when they were muddy, like they were out, 4 miles. Like that sticks out to me.
Yeah.
So that's what I remember.
My favorite is when they're, well, I shouldn't give anything away, but the shower.
We're going to tell Joanna the whole book.
Yeah, Joanna, plug your ears. But when they're in the shower and his friend is like, oh, so that's why Jordan's clothes are. I love that.
Yeah.
I want to reread that now that I'm like, I haven't reread it ever. I've only read it once.
Like 3 or 4 times. I've lost track. I love that. The loofah, how he never got another loofah.
Okay, so Jen, you've reread it and it still felt as good?
Yeah. I mean, it was like, yeah.
I was scared it wouldn't hold up,
it totally did.
Are always going to hold up. They really, like, all my favorites that I reread always hold up. I don't know why you're so scared. It's
The Wild is the only book I've ever reread. And I reread that when we did it for
and it was just as good.
Yeah.
I mean, like I would go right now and pick up Birthday Girl and read it for the 5th or 5th, whatever, 4th, 5th, whatever it is, and it would be just as memorable as the first time. Like,
and she's been having a hard time finding something to read this week with being sick and stuff. And I'm like, just do a reread of
Read the Birthday Girl. Read the Birthday Girl. I'm telling you, like you'll be like, why didn't I do this? Because you already know that you're gonna enjoy it, and it'll just put you in that good mood. Ooh, Pike and Jordan, I want to go read it.
You could actually listen to the audio this time because the first time around you didn't listen to the audio this time.
That's what I did the first time. I listened to the audio the first time, and then I read it the second and third. Yeah.
So Mandy, what are you now?
Yeah.
I'm reading Dark Russian Angel by Odette Stone.
Oh, okay. That's the first one, right? That's not the one I
read.
That.
There's only 2 in that series. Yeah. And then when I was looking, she hasn't put anything out for a couple of years.
No, I read the second one this last week. So.
But I've enjoyed everything I've read by her.
Is that Mafia? Because I read her, I was only reading her hockey series.
It's Mafia.
So far.
The second book is really different from any Mafia I've ever read. Different. It reminded me of the Jason Bourne movies. It was.
Oh, cool.
But there's only 2.
Yeah. So, but the first one I read it so long ago, I don't remember a lot about it. But Mandy's in the middle of it, so.
Yeah. She was just getting ready to dance for him.
Oh, she was a ballet dancer.
No, she's a stripper.
I don't remember. It's been so
long.
But
she wants to open her own dance.
Oh, she's a ballet dancer. No.
No, opposite of that. Opposite of that.
No,
she does.
She wants to open her own dance studio, but he's like, dance for me. And she's getting ready to give him a lap dance.
Oh, that gives me True Lies vibe.
I was just thinking that, Jen. I was thinking of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Slower.
Get
on to bed.
Oh my gosh. So I'm reading an arc, and I just started it. I was telling Mandy about it earlier. It's called "He Will Come for Me," and it's by Nicole Abrams. And I don't even remember requesting this arc. I have no clue where I requested. It just showed up one day. I was like, oh, okay. But it sounds like I'm only on like the second or third chapter. But this girl's been held captive by someone in a cell somewhere, and all she can remember is her name, how old she is, and that he will come for her. And someone comes in and takes her out. And she keeps repeating that. That's all she says. She barely uses her voice, but she says, he will come for me. And
It sounds like a horror movie, horror show.
And I'm assuming it's whoever this he is, it's somebody that she knows loves her and he's going to come for her. But I'm not that far into it. So I'm like, all of a sudden, I really want to go finish this. Like, who's coming?
I
Like,
know.
You
Like,
want
what?
to wrap this up? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
We
Some of us loved it. Some of us hated it. Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, what are we reading next?
next.
Okay, so next it's going to be on my channel, and we're going to do When She Unravels by, is it Gabrielle Sands? Is that?
Gabrielle Sands.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first book in a mafia series. I think it's in Ibiza too, where she like runs away from her husband or something, goes to Ibiza. So that sounds kind of interesting. I've seen this series everywhere, but so I was like, I want to start it with the first book. So I think Jessica already read like the newest one.
I read the fourth book, the newest book, this week, and I enjoyed it. So I want to go back and start it.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And then it'll be on March 17th.
Okay.
Which is St. Patrick's Day, but hopefully people will still tune in.
Everybody will wear green and come and join the festivities.
Yeah, wear green and apparently have green beer of some kind. I don't know.
Green beer?
I don't know.
Green something.
Beer, it's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that, but I'll wear green.
Or you could just do a Guinness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll be cooking something Irish, but yeah, that's about it.
I will be drinking iced coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so and that's on your channel, right, Amber?
Yeah. I'll get the stuff up. We'll have the stuff up later.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. It's not even an hour yet.
No.
Okay.
Well, that's what happens when you don't like a book.
Hey.
Well, some people loved it.
I know. I'm so happy.
And did you see? Maybe you didn't get a good look at his abs.
I think that's
oh my god! Okay.
Give it a 5-star.
Side note, you guys. Side note: when I posted that on my thing, like on my Instagram, and it automatically posted my Facebook. My brother is never like on my Bookstagram thing, but he saw it on the Facebook one, and he was like, "Oh, they got to really stop trying to take pictures of me when I'm on my vacations, like, and blah blah." And I was just like, "Oh my god!" And then the previous one that I did, like one of my edits, where I have the different guys. He's like, "When are you gonna?" This sounds so creepy. He's like, "When are you gonna come to me to be one of the models for the books?" And I'm like, that sounds weird. You're my brother."
So weird.
So funny.
I was telling Mandy earlier this morning. So I noticed my 14-year-old has been watching Beauty and the Beast, like all the Beauty and the Beast, over and over again. And we were going to the store this morning, and she's like, "Mom, I really like the Beast a lot, but when he turns into the prince, he is just gross." And I was like, said every romance reader out there, like, now do you get it? Like, do you get? She's like, "Yeah, I like the Beast a lot."
I felt that way when I was a kid. I was like, "Oh, he's like kind of like whatever is like the prince."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was like, there are so many books that are just based off of that premise in the romance community. So I was very proud of her at that moment as a mother. I was like, you got it. Okay.
She could read The Beast by Jenica Snow.
She cannot read The Beast by Jenica Snow because I read that. It's a little much. She is reading Icebreaker right now, but that's pretty tame. So, and I'm really open with my kids, so it's pretty tame. Anyhow, yeah.
Okay.
So,
anything else before we end?
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in. And see
Yeah,
us
thank
next
you,
month
everybody.
on
Thanks, everybody.
Now.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks, Joanna, for
Bye.
agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Megan, for agreeing with me.
Enjoy the Off Balance series, Joanna.
Yes, we're all
Yes,
jealous.
and birthday girl. Oh.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.